It seemed fitting to bring you here today and show you this as the backdrop because I want to reference this in regard to what I want to share today. And that is that the littlest known secret of success is that your staying power is equal to your starting power. So what does that mean? Your staying power, your ability to last and be a success is directly connected to what it took to start your endeavor. Let's use some examples. When it comes to music, for some reason I was thinking about music today as an example, and I was struck by the band, the Beatles. So the Beatles, very famous, took the world stage, had a huge rise to fame. Their window was like from 1960 to 1970. And they spent 4 years together as a band before taking the world stage, blowing up and becoming household names. I want to compare them to one of my husband's favorite bands, Rush, which I've gotten to learn and love a lot about them, because they are a band that has lasted or did have an incredible run of 40 years as a band from like 1968 to 2018. Now, these two bands, one spent 4 years building their reputation, building their ability to work together, and then lasted all of 6 years on the world stage. In contrast, I find it interesting that the band Rush took at least 6 years to begin to form. And even then, it was only after those 6 years that the third member did join their band, Neil Peart, the drummer. But those 6 years were very formative before they took the world stage and had the ability to then last for 40 years. Now, it might seem insignificant, these numbers, and I'm sure you can pick them apart. Maybe my analogy won't hold water completely with regard to music, but bear with me for a minute. The idea that there are many overnight sensations. And these overnight sensations to us, there's going to be two groups. We don't know it, but somebody takes the world stage and they're part of either Group A or Group B. Group A is the one that appears to have won the lottery. They have the right manager. They were in the right place at the right time. A lot of doors open for them. And you see this person rocket to fame, whether they're a sports hero, a model, or an actor, an actress, and even business tycoons, and rocket their way to the world stage. In the other group, you have this group I call Group B, that is the ones that really had to grind in a different way, that worked hard on a totally different level. They were the ones putting in the long hours, in the case of music, putting in the tours, or just consistency, right? Consistency, discipline, determination, all those really core values. Both groups may have put much of this into play, but there is a group of people that I would argue does that more, that has to do it for a much longer time, that has to build deeper roots, that has to work much harder to create that success they experience. And what I find is there is a group that has a flash in the pan and dies out. Sometimes they leave a legacy and they're known like the Beatles, but many times they just exit off the world stage and they had their one-hit wonders, so to speak, and they're kind of forgotten. And then there's a group of people that last and last and last, and they have just incredible endurance and an ability to reinvent themselves, to stay relevant with culture, and to keep producing something of value to people. I love how it's incredible, Rush producing the content, we use that word nowadays, but producing the music that they did for 40 years, and the albums they put out, and the tours, and the fans, the dedicated fans that that band had. And what you see is, they were inducted into the Hall of Fame. Was it in 2018 or something? And sadly, Neil Peart, the drummer, died.